dro. In the streets, man, that's all we know. Get money on the late nights till we all get low. The fans are riding in the daytime so we all get low. Yo, they trying to stop our show, stop us from profit home. Lock us down, ship us out, they really trying to stop our show. Go touch the pole, the baggers can't stop my road. 6 or 8, 7, 11, watch me knock it low. I lock it low like popping glow. Clean the streets of profit mode. Cop your head and cop your mo. Trust it to the top we go. Homie, spark one from your heat. Carlito J murder, spark one on the beat. We the brand makers, touch these haters, plotting the takers. They can't stop my raiders, we feeling like the Lakers. They can't stop the vapors, we creeping in for the capers. The fans is watching, trying to lock us down with the papers. Here on, I see you later, till my hands is covering paper. I'm out on late nights, grinding, trying to cover a
Still here, homie, popping collars on you snitches. You test can't drink what we did to get these riches.
Late night, so drugs, so dice, no slugs, no rights, no rub, no rights, no
Still here, homie, popping collars on you snitches. You test can't drink what we did to get these riches.
Late night, so drugs, no dice, no slugs, no rights, no rub, no rights, no
Street soldier, plenty soda, chop always holding. Lino and murder, dudes know when we paper folding. Homicide without a motor, some pay him if you want one. We straight from the ghetto, the gutter, 911's rolling. Cigarillos, everybody blowing, stolen. 85% of the time you kill 'em, you bound to know 'em. So be careful where you show 'em, play your role like Odom. Cause homies be tripping when you're pitching like Nolan. Got the one here to put it.
What's good, everybody? What's good? What's good? All right, y'all. So, give me a second. Let me get the audio together. Make sure everything's working. Everything's right. Hold up. All right, what's good with everybody? Make sure this audio is working. All right, we good to go. That's what happens when you run the show by yourself, man. So, all right. So I wanted to talk today about Terence Crawford, Errol Spence negotiations. I want everybody who comes into the chat today to basically give me their best negotiation for the Errol Spence Terence Crawford fight. What's your best split for the Crawford Spence fight? And then I want to talk about George Kambosos sparring 250 rounds with Manny Pacquiao, which is unbelievable. I mean, not too many fighters can say they went 250 rounds with Pacquiao and survived it, man, and flourished and became a better fighter afterwards, man. So try to give a few minutes, see if we get any more people into the chat, and then I'll try to get going. Oh yeah, plus got a call-in number now, man. So I'm gonna try to do some call-in type stuff once we get in a few more people into the chat. So you can definitely I left the number is in the numbers in the chat, the numbers it's on the screen. So if you want to call in, make sure when you call in you turn your YouTube volume off. If you have YouTube playing in the background, you gotta turn your YouTube volume off, or it's gonna cause feedback issues with the loop. So definitely once I see how many people I can get in here, then I'll start the call in part of things. Well, who's in here with me right now, man? Look like I got one, maybe two people in here. Hit me up in the chat. Let me know who's in here. Got some good fights coming up. Real good fights coming up. So it's already been a good year when it comes to boxing. The George Kambosos fight, I think that's fight of the year. We got the Manny Pacquiao fight. We got to see Crawford fight. Who else? Just got a Gervonta Davis fight. I missed that fight, but I would like to. I need to go back and watch it. See how see how he did. but definitely want to get people's opinion on the Errol Spence Terence Crawford negotiation. Uh, and George Kambosos, man, I think George Kambosos doing all those rounds with Manny Pacquiao was the perfect. It was the perfect lead up to him winning all those titles. It was perfect timing for everything that happened with him, man. He put in all the work and he deserves all the accolades after he got that victory. Hard fought victory. Take nothing away from Teofimo. Teofimo put in his work too, but uh, George Kambosos, he's a different type of animal, man. Definitely a different type of animal. So let me give it a few more minutes, man. Let me see if anybody else hops up in here. I need to start sharing this out to my Facebook again. I don't know why I don't be sharing it out to my Facebook. All right, man. So I guess I just start trying to open the convo up. I mean, I had a discussion the other day about Errol Spence and Terence Crawford and, the 50-50 split. I don't feel like the 50-50 talk is, I don't feel like that's fair for Errol Spence because he's definitely not going to get a 50-50 in the rematch if he loses. So I think 60-40 is a fair split to make the fight happen. And I feel like it's on Crawford to actually make that fight happen. Whether Crawford will make the fight happen, it's up to Terence Crawford at this point. I hope we do get it. But ultimately, it's going to come down to Crawford just accepting the terms of 60-40. I seriously doubt he gets him down to 50, even a 55-45 split. Because I don't think that's fair on Earl Spence Jr.'s part. But anything's possible. Maybe Spence just wants to make the fight happen, and he comes off another 5% of the fight, and we actually get the fight. But I doubt he's coming off of any more. I don't think 10% of a purse should hold this fight up any longer, personally. But boxing is the way it is nowadays, man. And we just gotta kind of deal with it and live with it. Uh, Go ahead and share this out on my Facebook really fast. Mm-mm-mm. I don't know why it makes you go through all this just to get a link. There we go. Alrighty. Share this out on Facebook. Maybe we can get a few more people in here if I share it on my Facebook. Because for some reason, it takes so long for some reason for YouTube to share stuff. I don't get why it takes so long for them to actually start sharing stuff out. Mm-mm. So who's in here with me right now? Let me know who's in here, man. So hit me up in the chat. Let me know what's going on. And I'm gonna get started, right? I'm gonna go ahead and post this on my Facebook real fast, and then I'm gonna get started. What's good? What's good? Appreciate you for coming through. Appreciate you for coming through. Trying to share this link out real fast, see if I can't get a few more people in here really quickly. I'm gonna take a break real fast and then we'll come right back after I share this link.
Negative, okay, nothing further. Just
All that seems to be on my mind is
Alright, 10-4,
All that seems to be on my mind is hustling.
negative, okay, nothing further.
All that seems to be on my mind is
Alright, 10-4,
hustling. All that seems to be on my mind is hustling. I just wanna touch a onion. She just want a couple hundred. I got mad and changed the subject. Then I got drunk and said fuck it. This is for my hustling niggas. This is for my hustling bitches. Pull up with that Aquafina. Yellow bone, her name is Tina. Tina like the hit casinos. Tina could snort a whole kilo. Tina like to fight and argue. Bye bye Tina, bitch, who are you? Met a dark skin chick named Anna. Anna like that marijuana. Anna was from the Bahamas. At least that's what she said, I assume she's honest. I apologize, your honor. I just wanted me some money. You can't tell these niggas frontin'. You can't tell these niggas nothing. 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 All that seems to be on my mind is hustling. All that seems to be on my mind is hustling. This is for my hustling niggas. This is for my hustling niggas. This is for my hustling bitches. This is for my hustling bitches. Nigga, don't act so suspicious. Hustle hot as hell, but you swear they snitching. You don't wanna go to prison. You don't wanna go to prison. You don't wanna come up missing. You don't wanna come up missing. I just want a couple bitches. Put them in the ring, make a split decision. I'm trying to slow down with the sinning. I pray to God, no, he'll forgive me. Me and God had a discussion. He said, tell him, I said, you can't tell these niggas nothing. 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 All that seems to be on my mind.
Alright, y'all, my bad. I had to share that link out real fast. Had to share the link out real fast. Trying to make it a little bit more interactive for everybody, trying to get more people involved in the conversation. That way, we can get a better take on what's really going on with the negotiations between Crawford and Spence. So, all right, where do we start? So, like I said earlier, I did a live the other day discussing the negotiations and stuff, and I still don't feel like the 50-50 is fair. I feel like the 60-40 is a fair split. I feel like it's up to Crawford to make the fight at this point. You know, Earl Spence is the big dog just waiting for the fight. So it's up to Crawford to make the fight. And he's got to realize he's fighting for the titles and not the money. You know, Spence is fighting for the money and Crawford's fighting for the title. So, you know, where does that leave things? Where do they start negotiating from there? You know, at what point do both guys come to the table and say, all right, you know, we got to make this fight happen before it's too late? And where do we start? You know, where do you want to start at? Where's the jump off point? So y'all hop in the chat. Let me know what's your best split to make the Terence Crawford fight actually happen? Is it 60-40? Is it 50-50? Is it 55-45? Is it a higher number for Crawford, a higher number for Spence? What do you think it's going to take for those two guys to actually make this fight happen? And now that Crawford's a free agent, or a free agent in waiting or whatever, he might actually sign with. He could sign with PBC. He could go with DAZN. He could stay by himself. He could go back with Top Rank if he wanted to. So, what do you guys think? What's the number that gets this fight to actually happen? I'm gonna give a few seconds, see if anybody hops up in the chat and gives their opinion. But definitely in a few minutes, I'm gonna definitely let you guys start calling in, and I'll start accepting the call in. So, but for now, just hop in the chat. Let me know. Hop in the chat box. Let me know, man. What number do you think it's gonna take to actually make this fight happen? I'm staying with my 60-40 split. I think for Errol Spence's sake, he should stick with the 60-40 split. He shouldn't come off that. He should let he should let Terence Crawford come to him. He has all the negotiating power, so let Crawford come to you. And I feel like that's where he should start from. Now, I know it's a lot of Terence Crawford fans that feel like, it's up to Errol Spence to come down off the price to make the fight. But, if you got all the bargaining chips, why would you come down off the price? I'm not going to sell you a new Porsche at Cadillac prices simply because you got Cadillac money. That don't make sense. I ain't going to benefit from it. I paid full price for the Porsche. You going to pay me over sticker price for the Porsche. So I make some money on it. So, but let me know in the chat, what you guys think about that. See if we got anybody in here willing to chat. Ryan Lamb, what's good, bro? Appreciate you for coming through, man. Appreciate you for dropping that in the chat, man. Ryan, tell me, Ryan, what's it gonna take to make the fight happen? What's the split? What's the split have to be to make this fight happen? And what's fair for both fighters? Because like I said, my fault. I had to somebody keep texting me. Like I said, I feel like 60-40 is fair. It's fair for both sides. It's fair for Errol Spence. It's fair because if Errol Spence loses, Terence Crawford's not giving him 50-50 in the rematch. The rematch will probably be like 65-35. So I think all around 60-40 is a great split, but I want to know what everybody else thinks. Especially if it's any Terence Crawford fans in here. I want to know what they think about the split. Why do they feel like you feel like the 60-40 is fair? Yeah, I feel like the 60-40 is fair, man. I think simply because of if Errol Spence loses, he's not going to make a lot of money out of the rematch. And it would be stupid for Terence Crawford to give him a 50-50 split in the rematch. So Ain't Live, what's good, Ain't Live? 40-40 split, the winner gets that 20. That would be an interesting that would be an interesting split if both fighters brought equal things to the table. Since Errol Spence does have more titles than Terence Crawford, I just feel like it can't be an equal split. There can't be an equal split with a winner gets the majority perks because they don't bring the same amount accolades to the table. Errol Spence has 2 or 3 belts, 2 noticeable belts, and a third one that nobody cares about. And Terence Crawford has 1 belt. Errol Spence brings a built-in fan base. Terence Crawford has a built-in fan base, but it's smaller than that big old Texas fan base that Errol Spence comes with. So, and then you got the pay-per-view numbers. We just saw Terence Crawford's fight didn't do anything on pay-per-view, and Errol Spence's fight equally didn't do anything on pay-per-view, but it did better numbers than Terence Crawford's fight. So, I would agree to. I agree with what you're saying, Ain't Laugh, but I would think it would have to be like, it would have to be like, it would have to be 50-30. It would have to be 50-30, and then like the remaining 10%, the remaining 20% would be to the winner. But you would have to still give Spence a little bit more because of what he brings to the table. He deserves that extra 10% boost, if you ask me. But argue your point. I want to hear your argument on that point. I definitely want to hear what y'all got to say. If I can get about 10 people in here, then I'll open up the line and see if we can't get anybody to call in. But definitely let me know what you think about that. What if they did a 50-30 split? 50% going to Errol Spence, 30% going to Terence Crawford, and then the winner gets the remaining 20%. What if they did it like that? I think that would be fair. I think that would be a fair split because at that point, it leaves it up to the winner of the fighter who gets the majority of the money. The winner of the fight who gets the majority of the money. But at the same time, Errol Spence would get a nice little kick on the front end. To make the basically make the fight. So that extra 10% he would get on the 50% end would be your upfront money to make the fight. So give him some upfront money to make the fight. Spence not a better fighter, but a bigger draw. But the draw makes the fight. You know what I'm saying? So that's why he gets that extra kick on the front end. So if it can't be 60-40 and you took it down to a 50-30 split with the winner getting the 20%, you would still have to give Errol Spence some extra money because he is the draw and he does have all those belts. It's only fair to give him something extra. So let's say the purse for the fight is $20 million, right? Let's say the purse for the fight is $20 million. So Errol Spence would get what on the front end. So the split would be on the front end. Errol Spence would get like $6 or $7 million on the front end. Terence Crawford would get like $2 to $3 million on the front end. And then whoever wins the fight will get the rest of the money. The problem with that is Errol Spence has a promoter. He's not going to be able to pay his promoter out of that $7 million that he's getting on the front end if he loses the fight. So that would be the problem. Where does Al Heyman get his money from? Al Heyman still has to get paid. So you talking about Errol Spence having to take and bust that $7 million down probably to like $4 million, $3 million after he pays Al Heyman for putting the fight on. So that's where the problem come in, and that's what I don't think people are thinking about. It's a 60-40 split because Earl Spence's side has to get that extra boost because he is the draw. He has all the titles, and he's gonna now be the one paying the promoter. we don't know if Terence Crawford is going to go into that fight with a promoter or not. So whatever Crawford makes on that fight is going to pretty much go into his own pocket. And if he does go in without a promoter, that means PBC is taking the full responsibility of promoting the fight, paying for the venue, uh, putting it on pay-per-view. So where does all that extra money come from for Errol Spence and PBC to be recompensated? It's got to come from somewhere. So, to me, it's fair at 60-40. It's fair at 60-40, especially if Terence Crawford doesn't re-sign to another promotional company. I mean, 60-40 is a great split for Terence Crawford without a promoter. He's getting, let's just say the once again the purse is $20 million. Errol Spence would get like seven. He would get like 12 million, 13 million, and Terence Crawford would get like 8. 7 or 8 million out of that, and it would go straight to him. So that's a heck of a split. That's a heck of a split on the money when you're not the draw, and you don't bring in the majority of, you're not a unified champion. So, but I want to hear, let me know. We got 5 people in here right now. Hit that like button for me, y'all. Hit that like so we can get more people in here. And then, like I said, once I hit about 8 to 10 people in the chat, I'll open it up so y'all can call in and let me know what y'all think on both topics. Hit that like button for me, definitely. Let me hit that. Go ahead and drop a comment in the chat section, man. Let me know what y'all think about the split. But I definitely agree that Spence is the bigger draw. He's always been the bigger draw. Terence Crawford just doesn't. He just doesn't draw in a crowd at all. And I think that's a big factor that's hurting him. It's really hurting him. And it's keeping this fight from happening. I think if Terence Crawford would have went ahead and fought Yadanius Ugas and beat Ugas, the next fight that would have had to happen would have been Crawford Spence. It would have definitely been Crawford Spence. Because there would be no other reason and that would have kind of trapped Errol Spence. Errol Spence would have had nowhere else to go within the welterweight division to get another fight and another good fight. At this point, he can always sidestep Terence Crawford next and go fight, and just wait for Ugas to finish his tournament and go fight Ugas, and that'll take another year. It's going to be another year down the line because Ugas' tournament's not going to be done until March or somewhere around March, April, May. I think that's what they said. It'll be around March or April by the time that tournament's done. And then, you got to give him another 2 to 3 months to rest and recover. And then, he will be able to fight Spence sometime in like August or September. So, and then you would have to wait another 3-4 months until about January, February of 2023 before we would even have a chance of getting a Terence Crawford Errol Spence fight. So, Crawford could have trapped. What's good, Caps? Hey, I'm opening up I'm gonna open up this call-in line, man, once we get about 10 people in here. And I want you to call in, bro. I want you to be the first person to call in. Let me know what you think about both of these topics, bro. But it would have been perfect. It would have been a perfect trap for Terence Crawford to get that fight if he would have fought Yadanius Ugas and beat him instead of Sean Porter. But that's my personal opinion. If he would have fought Ugas, beat him, he would have been a unified champion. Errol Spence would have no reason to go fight Ugas at that point, and then it would have forced the Spence Crawford fight. But I think now there's a chance we might have to wait another year. It might not happen till 2023. To be honest with you, it might not happen till 2023. So You know, I. Well, what do y'all think if it doesn't happen till 2023? And I'm gonna finish the chat out real fast. We got about 5 or 6 people. If I can get about 7 or 8, then I'll open the line up and let y'all call in. But hold on, let me see what y'all saying in the chat. All right, so Ain't Live says, see if Spence would call 60-40 behind closed doors. I think Crawford would have accepted that, but he said it out in the public. So Crawford is like, nope, that 60-40 ain't happening now. I mean, I'm not sure who he said it to, but he definitely put it out in the public. Uh, I think Terence Crawford at the time was probably looking at it from a different standpoint, since he did have a promoter at that time. So, I mean, if he was only going to get $4 million out of it, he was really only going to get like $2 million, somewhere around $1.5 million to $2 million out of that fight after he paid Bob Arum. So, I mean, now that Bob Arum's out of the picture, he stands to gain a whole lot more money off taking that fight at 60-40 than he would with Bob Arum taking a chunk of his purse. So, you know, what you're saying is right, but I think now that he's not with Bob Arum, it changes everything. Ugas backed out the Crawford fight. They was gonna fight. Ugas backed out. I never heard that, but that's interesting. If he did, it is what it is. He might have backed out because they called that mandatory stuff on him. So that might have been why he backed out. But I have to go read and see and check into that, see how that all came about. But definitely, I mean, Terence Crawford can still fight him at this. At that point, he would still have to wait for Ugas to play the tournament out. But we could potentially get a Crawford Ugas fight in the summertime if Spence decides to go in another direction instead of fighting Crawford next or fighting Ugas next. We don't know where Spence is going. I mean, he hasn't really come out and say who he's going to fight next yet. So we don't even know which direction he's actually going to go in. He might fight Crawford next. He might wait for Ugas. He might move up in weight. If he moves up in weight, that don't necessarily mean he's going to drop the titles. He might move up in weight and just challenge himself for one fight, just to give himself a fight until Ugas comes back, until Ugas is done with that tournament. But I doubt he does that, because then he stands a chance of losing. Even though he'll still have his titles, he stands a chance of losing, and it kind of reshapes. It will reshape the negotiating process again with Terence Crawford if he loses. So I think what you're gonna have happen. I think what's gonna happen here is you're gonna get it's gonna be a waiting process at this point. I think Spence is gonna wait for Ugas. He's gonna end up fighting Ugas. Crawford's gonna have to go fight another nobody in the meantime, in the summertime, and then Crawford and Spence will probably end up getting it on in the beginning, maybe May of 2023. What do y'all think about that? It might be 2023 before these dudes actually fight. I mean, that's realistic. That's a very realistic timeline. It's not being. I'm not trying to be funny or anything, but that's an extremely realistic timeline. It might be 2023 before they fight, and that's if, because we are sleeping on Ugas. That's if Ugas don't go ahead and shock the world. Now, let's say, Spence comes back, waits for Ugas, and perhaps Ugas loses. Ugas still has to beat, I think, it's either Jamal James or it's Jamal James and somebody else that's in that tournament for that super title. So he has to win, that tournament, and then he'll potentially get a Spence fight. But, he might lose in that tournament. And then that brings it brings a new wrinkle into everything, because let's say Jamal James wins that tournament and becomes the super champion, At that point, does Spence double back around? Does he still want to fight Ugas, or does he now go after Jamal James because Jamal James would be the champion at that point? Ain't like Spence should fight Crawford next because if Spence fight Ugas and lose, it will mess up the mega fight, and Ugas is no slaps. Definitely, and definitely. And like I said, though, this is it's all based on whether Ugas gets through that tournament without losing. Spence wants titles. Spence is only going after those titles. So I mean, he's only gonna fight who's the champion. He's not. If Ugas loses, he's not gonna go after Ugas at that point. He's gonna go after Jamal James if Jamal James comes out of it with the belt. And Jamal James would be considered a easier fight too than Ugas at that point. So gonna be very interesting. But it could also play out in the favor of Terence Crawford to where, let's say, Ugas and James end up fighting in the end of that tournament for the super title. James beats Ugas. Does Crawford then go after? It's going to be a crazy negotiating process for whoever wins that tournament because I think both Spence and Crawford are going to jump on whoever the super title holder is because it really benefits Crawford to get that title and it gives Spence even more negotiating power. If he imagine now think about here's another wrinkle that you got to throw in there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and open the line up for everybody. Here's my final wrinkle in all of that. Let's say that Terence Crawford does fight Ugas and wins. Or Spence fights Ugas and wins. What do you think that the split would be if Errol Spence gets the title from Yordanius Ugas? What do y'all think the split? It's going to be a race for that super title between Spence and Crawford because if Crawford gets it, then I think he can argue for a 50-50 split. But if Spence gets it, he can now argue for a 65-35 split because he would have all those belts at that point. So I think it really hurts Terence Crawford to wait this thing out. I think it's really going because if he doesn't end up with that super title and Spence ends up with the super title, he's in some trouble. When it comes to the numbers, he's going to get an even less. He's going to get an even less cut of the split. And that's why I keep telling y'all Spence is sitting back with his feet kicked up laughing about all this because he has Terence Crawford stuck between a rock and a hard place. Either Terence Crawford has to go fight Ugas, and I believe Ugas has already beaten Crawford in the amateurs. So that's going to be a really tough fight for Terence Crawford. And what's going to happen in my eyes is I think Crawford can beat Ugas, but I think Ugas would soften Crawford up for Spence. And I think Spence knows this, and I think he's playing all these scenarios out in his head. And he's like, man, the longer I wait this thing out, the better it plays out in my favor. As long as I don't fight him, he has to go somewhere else and fight somebody, and that's just softening him up for me. And by the time I get him, he's going to be primed and ready to get his ass whooped at that point. So it don't benefit Crawford to keep trying to drag this thing out at all. It don't. In no way. It don't benefit him at the negotiating table, and it don't benefit him to keep taking punishment from other fighters while Errol Spence is kicked up fighting garbage men. But hey, that's my opinion. Let me know what y'all think. And I'm gonna go ahead and let me know what y'all think. I'm gonna open up the line here in a second. Let y'all see if anybody calls in. Oh yeah. Plus, I want to talk about George Kambosos too, man. George Kambosos, this man did 250 rounds with Manny Pacquiao, man. It's not many fighters who can say they survived 12 rounds, let alone 250 rounds with Manny Pacquiao. So if you want to call in and you want to talk about George Kambosos and his 250 rounds with Pacquiao, you can do that. If you want to call in and talk about Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, you can do that, man. I'm gonna go ahead and open that up. All right, y'all. So y'all can go ahead and if you want to call in, man, go ahead and take the opportunity to call in. If you want to just leave your opinion in the chat, man, you can go ahead and leave your opinion in the chat. Captain Full G, if you still in here, man, hit that line for me, man. I want to holler at you, man. Hit that line, hit that number for me. I definitely want to get your opinion on what's going on with the negotiating of Crawford and Spence. Plus, I want to get your opinion on the George Kambosos too, man. So, but definitely, if either one of those guys take a loss, if either one of those guys take a loss, it pretty much ruins this fight. Because I mean, the other guys just gonna move on to whoever's the champion at that point. So, where is it? It should be on the screen, Cap. It's on the screen. It's right there on the screen in the right hand corner. I'm gonna point to it. Should be right. It should be right there on the screen. Right there. Yeah, you can call in that number. Don't see the link. No, it's not a link. It's a call in number. You got to call in the number. Yeah, you can just call in the number. Yeah, it's right there on the screen. You just call me and I'm not doing the stream yard yet, man. I'm gonna eventually get the stream yard, but I ain't doing the stream yard yet. I just want to open the line up and see, give people a chance to voice their opinion over the line. Damn, you made me lose my train of thought. I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, George Kambosos. Yeah, George Kambosos has 250. George Kambosos in the 250 rounds with Manny Pacquiao. Man, that's super impressive, man. That's something I don't think too many other fighters will ever be able to lay their hat on. Saying that they went that amount of rounds with another fighter the caliber of Manny Pacquiao and survived it. And now that he's, it's about 2-3 years later, he's an even better fighter coming out of it. And he's got all those titles, and he can brag, man. I don't do nothing but salute George Kambosos, man. He definitely deserves all the accolades he's getting at the moment. I don't see why some people feel like they need to diminish what he did. I know they said Teofimo was sick or something during the fight. I know he has asthma. They said he had air in his lungs during the fight. But I would say, they do pre-fight. They have to check with the doctor before the fight. So I'm pretty sure the doctor would have caught that. I'm pretty sure the doctor definitely would have caught that. Hey, we got Caps calling in right now. What's good? What's good? What's good, man? What's good with you? Yeah, I can hear you. Make sure if you got your YouTube in the background. Hold on. Yeah, make sure you got that turned down. Everything same old, man. Same old, man. Trying to get back on it, man. They got lazy here, bro. They already fought. Who? What's the name of the guy that Ugas is supposed to be fighting first? They had already had a contract. Sandonis, that's his name. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We'll fight Budnik, and that's supposed to be in March, ain't it? That like the ending of the tournament is supposed to be in like March or April or something like that. That's what I heard. Yeah. Hmm. I mean, that's 6 times bigger. I I mean, I didn't understand the tournament when they announced it. I'm like, why they? What you would think that they would just want to get the Spence Ugas fight because it's gonna make way more money than that tournament is. That was my thought. I was thinking like, man, why would they want to? What is the point of putting this tournament together when you got this big fight right there staring you in the face? Exactly. And then and you would think that they would have made that tournament, and then the winner gets a shot at whoever would win between Spence and Ugas. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I don't understand the whole purpose of this tournament. I think it's just kind of holding things. It seems like everybody's in cahoots to hold the fight from to keep that fight from happening. You know what I'm saying? None of this stuff makes sense. I mean, it's just a year away. So I'm gonna ask you now. Then, what is a fair split to make the fight? Then, what's a fair split? If they can't do it at 60-40, if you got to give Terence Crawford 2 more%, I mean, what's a little closer to what you think he wants? So you think he might want an extra 5%? Now let me say this: then now that he don't have Bob Earl with him, though, do you think he still deserves that extra little bit? I mean, because he's going to get all the purse now at this point. He don't have a promoter. You don't think he got the eye injury in the car accident? To where he got the thumb in the eye? But that's what I'm saying though. A detached ret, it would be hard to get a detached retina from a thumb in the eye. You know what I'm saying? It would have had to have come. I'm saying maybe it did happen in the accident, and he just never had his eyes checked. Ma- True, true. Yeah, I mean that's known. He was drunk. He was drunk. Yep, yep. Has he addressed? Has he addressed what Terence Crawford said yet? Oh man, my camera just died. Wow. But they can still hear us. Well, my camera's out. So I'm gonna have to shut it. I'm gonna have to shut it down though, man, because my camera died. So I'm gonna let the battery charge up, and then I might just get back on here and do part two of this, and then we can get back on, man. Yeah, I just now found that I can do it like this, man. So definitely, I'm gonna be doing a lot more of this here soon, man. But I'm gonna have to kick it out of here, y'all, man. Appreciate you for coming through, Captain, man. The camera died, so having technical difficulties. Okay, okay, okay. All right, man. I needed to test this anyway, so I'm glad it worked. Definitely, definitely. Take it easy, Cap. All right. All right, y'all. I gotta shut it down, man. The camera died, so I'll be back, man, later on tonight, man. Appreciate y'all for coming through, man, hitting them likes and everything. It's your boy Carter Red, and we are out of here.
Negative, okay, nothing further. Just,
All that
take
seems
care of the corner.
to be on my mind is
Alright, 10-4, 10-2, 10-96.
All that seems to be on my mind is hustling.
Negative, okay, nothing further.
All
Just,
that
take
seems
care of the corner.
to be on my mind is
Alright, 10-4, 10-2, 10-96.
All that seems to be on my mind is hustling. I just wanna touch a